Hi everybody, Steve from Steve's Makerspace, and today we are in Gamecraft and covering a couple of updates. One of these happened May 19th and another one on June 12th. It took me a while to get to these because I've been playing a lot of survival scrap mechanic. But let's get to it. So the first thing to note is that we have injury and death in here. So I'm going to jump from a high height. Oh, and I'm dead. And then I can respawn and I get a number of lives. The default is 3. If I want my game to have no injury, I could do that. To change the number of lives that you have and whether the player can take damage or not, you would use the player spawn point and then hit E for configure mode. We click on this and we can change, here's the number of lives, and can take damage, yes or no. Now the other player spawn points, this is the really large one, it also has the same input. You can't walk into this area, and the dot is like way in the center. It's a bit difficult to get to, so I think that needs a little tweaking, and it's really tiny once you do open it up. So maybe the devs can try and figure out a way to fix that. Let's test this height, which is not quite as high, and that decreases my health by about half. You know, that's a pretty far drop to only decrease my health by half. If I am on this, or a little bit higher, and then I fall... Oh, that one killed me. Here, let's try that. I didn't die. Now I landed on the platform before I hit the ground. So if I go up a little bit, there. So I didn't land on that platform before I hit the ground, but I also didn't die. So that's interesting. However, there's something that bothers me. Let's say I'm at the bottom and the slab is coming down on top of me. It doesn't injure me at all. So that kind of bothers me. I think it should give me some kind of injury. Now, if I make this slab bigger and drop it, that hurt. Didn't hurt very much, but it hurt. So it seems like the mass of the object falling matters more than the height of the object, which is a little weird. What if I have the same, about the same mass, but falling only a small amount? Okay, that didn't hurt at all. Let's try this one. And that one hurt about as much as this one did over here. Actually, I made this one a little bit bigger, didn't I? Anyway, I think the speed of the object hitting the character should come into play more. I mean, it's going to be like mass times speed equals force. I'm not sure exactly what the formula is, but it seems like that needs a little adjustment to me. Some other things that injure the character, there's this new magma block, which will hurt when I jump on it. And you can see also that the direction of the injury appears on the screen. There's red marks along the bottom when I do that. Whereas if this thing fell on me on my head, the red marks would appear on the top of the screen. And then this also hurts. This actually hurts even more. This is, what do they call this? This is a hex net cube, and it's available in all sorts of different shapes. The magma block works like the grass and the dirt, where it stays in place, and the hex net works like the other blocks, where it can fall, like so. And you can see these are both on motors, and this one's not moving at all because it's acting like a dirt block, whereas this one is moving. Now, another thing about injury that I think needs improvement, this thing, again, got a lot of acceleration. I guess it's the same as that object falling, but I can jump right into this and it doesn't injure me. So yeah, I think the devs need to work on that. So the other thing that's pretty exciting is these guns. Now this is going really slow. They don't always go slow. This is just one example. you can actually change the speed. So if we look at this, I've got automatic or semi-automatic, fire rate, the range 35, so when will it blow up, and then the velocity, and I've got this at 1, which is why it's going so slow. But let's crank up the velocity really high, and now, and you can see that goes pretty fast. And I can just, so this is in automatic, so if I just hold the button, it'll just keep firing. Whereas if I change this to semi-automatic, now if I hold the button it only fires once, so I have to keep pressing the button in order to fire. And if I get in front of it, let's see if I can get in front of it and fire, you can see it does give me damage. Here is a much larger gun. This big gun is the same as this one, and it's called a plasma cannon block, but you can see that you can scale this just like the other blocks by hitting control and rollerball on the mouse. So if my character stands in front of this big gun and I hit this, there we go, instant death. If there's something in front of this and I hit this, so it'll explode when it hits something. Now here I've got two plasma cannons facing each other. Let's set them both to the lowest velocity. And you can see that they don't interfere with each other, they just pass right through each other. So that's a thing, good to know. There isn't a handheld gun at this time. They do want to introduce that at some point, but right now we just have these mountable plasma guns. Now we have some SFX blocks to go over. These are in the special section. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them plus a music block. So first we have a gameplay SFX block, and the pitch can be controlled, and then we can change what tone it's using. Let's say we want to do a chime, and we change the tone like so. And you can change the tone in here as well. You don't have to change it with a dial. And of course in the game what you would do is connect this to some kind of logic. So if you pick up a coin, for instance, then the chime would go off. There's also 3D versus 2D, which seems a little odd. I don't know why they say 3D versus 2D, but basically what it means is, will this be heard throughout the map? That's the 3D, whereas if it's only heard locally, then that's 2D. So if I were to copy this button, let's go place it way over here. And then we play this. Oh, that's interesting. Do I have it 2D or 3D? I've got it 3D. What about 2D? Ah. Okay, I had it backwards actually. See, that's why I think they need to come up with better terms, because 2D and 3D don't make sense to me. So apparently 2D means I can hear it throughout the map, whereas 3D means I can only hear it locally. So then there's the 8-bit sound effects. Play a little bit of that. And then there's music. And we can change the pitch of this piano. Let's see, we've got a drum, kick drum, hi-hat, guitar, 2 guitars, a trumpet. So let's play the trumpet. Now the only thing I don't like about the way this works is that it's actually, rather than actually changing the pitch in a normal way, what it's doing is slowing down the music as if you had it on a turntable. If I play this trumpet at a high pitch, listen to how long the note goes for. And then if I play it at a low pitch, really long. They did say that they didn't really intend this to be used to play music. It was more of a sound effect. Sometime down the line they'll come out with proper music blocks. You can see that if I'm changing the pitch, I'm just using numbers. I don't see like a C, D, E. However, a guy named Mike Law on the Gamecraft Discord said that these are the notes. So 0 is a C, and then 2 is a D, etc. And then these are notes in a octave down, so -12 to -1. And then if you go further down the octave, you actually have to get into decimals of 0.08 difference between each of these, all from 12 to 13, and then over here 12 to 13 again in 0.08 decimals. So thank you, Mike Law, for figuring that out and passing it along. Then we have a sci-fi sound effects, a loops sound effects, and a vocal sound effects. So here's sci-fi. And let's see what else we got in sci-fi. That's a laser sound. How about a bleep 5? Okay, so that's pretty cool. And then this is loops, which doesn't have a button, it has a switch instead. Aha, so this is the sound of a motorcycle or a car. And I can change like the speed. And it has a like a beginning sound and an ending sound and a middle sound. So if I turn this on, you can hear the brum as it gets started, and I can speed it up. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what else they have in here. Let's try the copter. That sounds cool. All right. Yeah, like you're on the ground, and then you get in the air. That's cool. I like that. This is vocal.
Here we go again.
Oh, jeez. Okay, that's a weird. The only thing I would prefer is if when I'm selecting these, I could actually hear what I'm selecting. So if I heard "here we go again" when I clicked on this, that would be nice. I have no idea what this sounds like until I go back into test mode.
Checkpoint.
And press that. Let's try another one. Evacuate.
Evacuate. Evacuate.
Okay. Let's hear that a little higher.
Evacuate. Evacuate.
All right. Now the music is actually music. It's not a sound effect. So you can now put in not just the Gamecraft theme music, but a variety of other musics into your game. You do have to go into your options, because I've got the music completely off, and you do have to have the music on. And let's play. This is nice. Now, one thing I would like is for the maximum volume of the music to be higher. Right now I've got the music all the way to the max, and it's kind of hard to hear this. So I could always turn the music down if I think it's too high, but I can't turn it any higher than this. Alright, let's see what else they have in here. I remember electro sounded pretty cool. Let me see. Yeah, nice. So you can see this has an input, so you could have this music start playing when the player gets to a certain spot in the map, and then you could have it stop playing when they leave that area of the map, or maybe they're achieving something. Now here I've just set up a loop with a timer, so if I turn this on, we just get a tone that keeps repeating until I turn this off. And then here I've got a player on enter connected with a sound effects block. So if I enter this, you can hear it plays a tone. So that's just a couple of ways that you can use the sound effects blocks with other blocks. So the other change that I haven't talked about yet with these two updates is look at the top right of the screen. So there were a couple of major complaints with the way things were operating in Gamecraft. So one complaint was with the seat, because Time Start was using E and a lot of players were used to using E in order to exit a seat. And so then they would accidentally quit the game they were playing when they were trying to exit a seat. And so that was really frustrating. So now they've got those as two separate buttons. Time start is now hitting T, and E is for exiting a seat when you're in test mode. So here I can hit E to get into the seat, and then E to get out of the seat. Hit E again and nothing happens. And I stop the game by hitting T again to exit test mode. The other complaint was that when you had something like this, it was difficult to like get rid of this button because you had to get around this blue dot. Well, now they have different modes. So you've got E for configuration mode, and then you can switch over to Q for build mode. And now the blue dot goes away and you can easily delete this button. Color mode works the same way as it did before, just hit C to get into color mode. And then the other thing is box select mode. So now if you want to copy and paste a section of things, like so, you hit B to get into box select mode, and then Control C to copy and click to paste. And we can hit right mouse button to cancel that selection and then make a new selection, and then I could hit delete to get rid of that. So I think that is really good, these different modes. T for test mode, Q for inventory or building, C for color, E for configuring, and B for box select. So that's all I've got for you today. That's a lot of new stuff to work with, to play with in Gamecraft to make your games. If you like this video, give it a like, consider subscribing to my channel. Comments are always welcome. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Steve's Makerspace.